I also saw the what is it, Daimler and BMW getting together for ride sharing, correct? So I want to talk more about that.
Massive,
Massive,
massive
yeah.
press
What is it,
release.
1 billion?
People don't appreciate what just happened there. I speak German fluently. I've been going there my whole life, and I understand German industry very well. And I'm not going to mention names, but I have friends that are pretty well connected in German industry. And Simon Moores, who runs Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, he's a good friend of mine. And before Dieselgate, as it happened, this is 2015, September, August. And a lot of these things that we've discussed, and Simon as well, he's been a good forecaster with me, predicting the future. Well, do I predict the future? No, but I understand the application. I understand the methodology, the thinking in some of those companies, and the acknowledgement. If you have to look at the consumer and your future consumer. Millennials are no longer children. They're in their late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've noticed on a global scale, there are tens of millions of young people that never obtained a driver's license. They will never become the consumer of big auto and in turn of big oil. What they're using, they want access, not ownership. They have the ability of Uber. These things, my generation didn't have.
Yeah.
But when it comes to car sharing, this is something that people need to appreciate. Your audience may not know how this works. Let me explain to you how car sharing works and why they've done this merger. First part of it is they know the demographic. There is a huge percent of their car sales which are never going to happen in the future. The two biggest car manufacturers in the world are Toyota and Volkswagen, and they jockey back and forth, about 10 million units each. The car sales in the world about 90 million. Okay, so if I was to tell Mr. Toyota or Herbert Dice, who runs Volkswagen, you're going to sell 1 million less cars in 5 years. That's a catastrophe. But that's exactly what's happening because sales are going to fall by 10 and 20%. Unless you look at it as a business where we want to generate revenue. So for these young people, which are going to become 50-year-olds and 55-year-olds, they will have car sharing. So what they're doing effectively is capitulating, and they're saying that we will now offer people car sharing, which is renting a car by the minute, around the world, the entire lineup, both companies. So if you're taking your partner's family out for dinner, you're going to rent a BMW 7 Series or Mercedes S-Class by the minute. No contract. You're going to pick it up, and you're going to rent it for an hour, 3 hours, a day, 3 days. This disrupts the rental industry, too. Gone are the days of you going to the airport and being fooled around with a contract you're scared to death, and the insurance costs more than the car rental, and you fool around there. No, those days are gone. And this works today. Now, I drive a Tesla in Europe, a Model X. My friend and I have this thing there, and I used to have a Tesla Model S that I drove across America in. But in Vancouver, I live downtown. I actually don't drive a car anymore. I use Mercedes Car2Go program. This is how this works. I go to the car, and they're everywhere downtown. For 29 cents a minute, I tap, car opens, I drive the car for 20 minutes, which is basically traversing Vancouver, $6. You park the car. You know how much parking costs in downtown Vancouver per hour?
Oh my God.
$12.
Really?
This is no contract, no insurance, no gas, no nothing. That's all you pay. Now, if people say, oh, that only works by the minute. No. I can now go and take a Mercedes C-Class or a Mercedes SUV, and I can rent the car for an hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, a day, or 3 days. So it's cheaper than renting a car down at Hertz or Budget, and none of the nonsense. As long as you don't smash the car, I mean, eventually you're going to lose your privilege with them. But you just return the car. It's cheaper than renting a car.
It's no hassle.
It's zero hassle. And it's convenient. So sometimes I need the car for 20 minutes. Sometimes I need it for 3 hours. Sometimes I need it for 3 days.
Yeah.
Go to Whistler. Go to Merritt Mountain Music Festival with your Mercedes. Yeah. Rent it. You go there.
It's easy.
But it's way cheaper. And now I can even take the car, drive it to the airport, fly to Frankfurt, rent a Mercedes S-Class, drive the Mercedes S-Class to Munich, park it, spend the weekend enjoying myself in Munich, rent an X5, go to Kitzbühel, park the car, do my skiing. I mean, you get the point?
Yeah.
You're renting it to the exact time frame that you want.
Wow.
This is the future. So this car sharing announcement, it's a capitulation, it's an acknowledgement, and away we go. And these guys spend a fortune on advertising. Believe me, they've thrown everything they could, and it's not working. The 25 biggest advertisers in the world, if I was to stretch that to 30, 10 are car companies. They spend how much money per year? Between 5 and 7 billion every single year advertising to guess who? Young people that don't care. They don't buy their product.
They don't
Yeah.
want it
There's
anymore.
you can't put a pistol to their head to make them buy these things anymore because they know I can just rent it by
Yeah.
the minute.
Well,
Right.
it's harder to own, right? It's more expensive. Why own when you can just use it for a little while and then have another one some other day?
Why buy a Toyota Camry and be stuck with the same burgundy or beige Toyota Camry
That's right.
when I, for less money, can drive anything I want when I want it anywhere in the world I want? Hello? Why car payments, insurance, all this other nonsense? Bye-bye.
Well, the one thing that struck
Wow.
with me is that is going up to, if you're going up to Whistler,
Yeah.
I don't want my little, because I drive a little hybrid. I don't want that going up to Whistler and you putting
Take
skis
a
in that.
Mercedes SUV. Take
Yeah.
their car. Go in style. Go
Yeah.
in style. Park the thing there.
That's what I find so easy because we're limited currently to little small vehicles that are not equipped for trips like Whistler or anything. So you're
you need
saying,
both. You
Yeah.
need
So
Now
you
here's
need.
here's the whammy here. Because now the idea for that system is to take the human out of the equation. You need diesel, you need to fuel. Gasoline, you need to fuel. They will all be electric. Because what they're going to do is, in not all, but many of these parking spots, they're going to have an induction pad, which you simply, in the parking
Just park.
spot, it charges every time you park. There's no human being required. Now, there's also almost no service in an electric car. You don't touch the brakes. There's no fluids. The motor can go 1,000,000 kilometers. It's the battery maintenance a little bit. It's all they're going to have to do. And it's not wireless magic charging. It's copper intensive hardwired inductive charging because you have to hardwire the pad, and then the car has a receiving coil
Yeah.
to be able to do this inductive charging. So just because they say it's wireless charging, it's not magic. It's copper intensive wireless charging. Just
Right.
it's
Yeah,
that
just-
that separation, that 8, 9, 10 inches of separation.
Just doesn't go as good on an ad.
How many millions of these inductive chargers are going to be installed around the world in the next 10 years, 20 years?